Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the All Things Adelaide 36ers podcast. Today with me, I have a very special guest, 36ers guard Brendan Teys.
Hey, thanks for having me.
No, thank you very much for joining me, and I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to talk to me. So let's not dawdle. One of my first questions is, how's your family and your new daughter?
Yeah, it's been good. I just got a 5-month-old, or nearly 5-month-old now, and nearly a 3-year-old. So the 3-year-old's pushing limits a little bit. We thought we're out of the terrible twos, and now we've moved into the three-nagers.
Yeah.
And the little one, for the first half of her life, she had really bad reflux. So she was screaming all day. She was screaming all night. For a while there, me and my wife were both getting probably 2 hours of sleep a night, which made it tough to wake up in the morning, go to weights, go work out, and then come back home to a screaming baby and a 3-year-old. But
wow.
I did what I had to do, and I'm blessed to have all three of them. My two little girls and my wife in my life. She's doing a great job helping me out.
Yeah, well, that sounds pretty tough. It must have been good that the season hadn't really properly started yet, so you could look after it.
We're very, very lucky that the season hasn't started, and we're very, very lucky that the NBL didn't decide to put us in a hub somewhere, because there's no way that my wife would have been able to look after both of them by herself for an extended period of time. And we probably would have had to look at sending her back to Brisbane so she's got family support or something like that. So it's been nice to be able to spend time with my littlest one, because I didn't get that opportunity for the first few months of Frankie, my oldest one's life, because we had her in January and our season didn't finish till March. So kind of missed out. I was traveling a lot in that first 2 to 3 months of her life. So it's kind of cool to catch up on it with Hallie, the new one.
Yeah, wow, that would have been very tough for you, and very lucky. You mentioned Brisbane. Growing up in Brisbane, what was that like? Well, how different was it to living in Adelaide now?
Look, I guess I'll talk from a basketball perspective. I was very lucky to grow up playing with a lot of, great players and a lot of guys that I call lifelong friends now. I started playing basketball when I was 7 or 8 with a guy called Brock Modem, who has played for the Sixers in the past, and he's overseas now. But he's my best friend, and we started playing basketball at the same time. So we grew up playing juniors together against each other. And I was very fortunate to have someone like that who would push me to be better, and I could push to be better. So that's from the basketball perspective.
Personal perspective.
From every other perspective, it's just it's a great place to live. You got the beach down the freeway. You got the city right there, a beautiful city on the river, lots of things to do. But in saying that, I've loved my time in Adelaide. I'll be honest, I didn't know too much about Adelaide. I've played against Adelaide or South Australia in a few national championships and stuff like that, and never been down here. I actually did come down here for a under 18 nationals, so I didn't get to see the city much or anything like that. It was more for basketball. But as soon as I got down here, fell in love with the place. It's like a mini Brisbane. In saying that, you got the beach right there, you got the city right there. There's enough to do, and I've been very fortunate to have good teammates down here that you can find things to do with your teammates. So we love it down here.
Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, we're happy to have you here. So, we love you here. So that's good that you say that. It feels good.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get your start in basketball when you were younger? Were there like any inspirations or anything?
Yeah, so my brother was a big inspiration for me to pick up a basketball. He's 10 years older, and he loves his sports, and he started playing basketball. He probably picked up a basketball when he was in grade 11 or 12, which coincided with me being 7 or 8. Mm-hmm. And we would be in the backyard, put the spotlight on, play one-on-one, get shots up.
Yeah.
Until until it was bedtime, pretty much. Have a shower, go to bed. So that's where I fell in love with the game. I actually played a lot of soccer and basketball growing up, and I was pretty good at both. And it was probably around the age of 12 that I had to decide which one I wanted to play, because Mum was driving me from a basketball game in the morning to a soccer carnival, back to a basketball game, back to a soccer game. All day Saturday was just traveling, playing basketball, soccer, basketball, soccer, basketball, soccer. So I had to make a choice, and the reason I chose basketball is because obviously I'm pretty pasty. I didn't want to get too sunburnt all the time, so I wanted to choose an indoor sport. And the second thing was I didn't like wearing short soccer shorts. I preferred the long basketball shorts. So there's a little story for you, but that's why I ended up playing basketball. And yeah, it was really my brother that was the driving force behind my love for the game.
Oh wow, that is very interesting. And you answered one of my questions before I even got to ask it. So there you go. When you were growing up, this is a bit of a quick question. What was your favorite NBL and NBA team when you were growing up?
My favorite NBL team was the Brisbane Bullets.
Yeah.
I would have season tickets every year, probably sitting in row 4 or 5 in the corner of the Brisbane Convention Centre there. And actually, my favorite player was CJ Bruton growing up.
Right.
I don't know if I've ever told him. I have a relationship with him now where if I see him, I go up to him and give him a high five or a handshake and have a quick chat. How's the family? How's the kids? Blah blah blah. But he was one of the guys growing up who I watched and admired and loved his demeanor and the way that he played the game. Yeah. And then on the back of my brother was a Lakers fan. He was a Kobe fan, so naturally I became a Lakers fan and a Kobe fan. So never jumped off the bandwagon because I was always a Kobe fan, and this year they obviously won the championship, so it was good to see.
Yeah, so you're still a Lakers fan now, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. When you were growing up, do you have any favorite basketball moments that stick out to you as like your favorite moment?
Yeah, there would always be. So I was lucky enough, like I said, I played with a lot of great players when I was younger, and we were lucky enough to win the under 12 state championships, the under 14 state championships. No, sorry, we lost the under 14 state championships. So we won the under 12 state championships, we won the under 16 state championships, and the under 18 championships we won. And that was special because a lot of our team went to another association.
Wow.
And so we were left with just like gritty, hardworking, kind of throw anything at you and we'll cop it kind of team. And we ended up beating the team that everyone left to in the grand final. So that was a special moment. And then on top of that, probably the under 20 nationals playing for Queensland.
Yep.
We won the state the national championship against New South Wales in the final. We were down by 2 at halftime, and we ended up winning by 38. So
30.
Yeah, we had a lot of firepower in that team. At the time, we had 8 guys. 8 of our 10 guys were at the AIS, and the other 2, me and Damon Hire, were both in NBL programs at the time. So I was at the Blaze, and he was at the Crocs, I think.
Yep. So would you say that those championships probably your biggest basketball achievement from your younger years?
The biggest what?
The biggest achievements from your younger years, those championships?
Yeah, I think so the story behind the under 20 nationals is we were perennial chokers, I suppose. So we would always have one of the best teams on paper. And so this is under 16s, under 18s. Yeah. We would have one of the best teams on paper, and we'd always come up against Victoria Metro, who had a bunch of studs in that team. And we'd always lose in the semi-final to Victoria Metro, and always claim bronze. Yeah. And then under 20s, we finally got this team together, found a good coach for us, and and yeah, we smacked every team. We came up against Victoria, who had Ryan Brockhoff at the time.
Yeah. Wow.
Matt Dellavedova, so two NBA guys. We came up against them and smacked them, and then played WA in the semi, which is kind of scary because we always lost in the semi, but we smacked them, and then came up against Jason Cadee, who was playing for New South Wales, and he was probably one of the top scorers of that competition. And like I said, we're down by 2 at halftime, and everyone was nervous because we're perennial chokers. But it was the last 5 minutes in that game, the coach played the 5 of us who had been there from the start and never won, but we're really close the whole time. And it was like we would come down and take turns at like hitting threes. It was just a real special moment to be a part of. You probably had to be a part of it to really care. But it was just cool that, like, you know, I would come down and hit a 3, and then the next, because we were winning by 30. And, you know, Brock would come down and hit a 3, and then Geordie Page would come down and hit a 3. Christian Salvage would come down and hit a 3. Mitch Young would come down and hit a 3. Like, we just had so many big names, and just the last 5 minutes was real special.
It's extremely interesting, you know. I'm sure there's a moment you'll keep forever, for sure.
Yeah.
Was there a moment when you were younger, when you were playing basketball, any specific moment where you're like, I want to do this professionally, I would like to do this for as long as I can?
That's a good question. I suppose, you know, you always sit there and when you're younger and you write down your goals and I want to play in the NBA, or I want to play professional, or I want to play for Australia. So everyone kind of has those aspirations in the back of their mind. I guess all through juniors, I was one of the better players in my age group. So I kind of always had that goal in mind to play professionally. And then, I don't know, I guess I got to the state league level. So it was QBL or ABA or whatever it was at the time. And I won the junior, like the Youth Player of the Year award. And that was probably, you know, that's obviously my first time competing against men. And I could hold my own. So I was like, well, maybe, you know, maybe I'm good enough to play against these guys. These guys are men, they're all good players. Like, I can probably take it to the next level. And then you get a few breaks along the way that, you know, end up, you got to be in the right spot at the right time, and you end up, you know, where I am today. I'm very fortunate.
Yeah, wow. Very interesting stuff. You had a short stint with the Brisbane Bullets in 2008 as a development player before they folded. What was that like, getting your first taste of professional basketball?
Yeah, so that all started, funny, you know, kind of funny story to me is I had a chance to go play for Australia, like the under 19 Australian team, I think. And it was like the Asia Pacific games or something like that. So we were supposed to go and play against Guam and, you know, all these countries, Fiji, all these countries like that. And so I got that call and I thought, man, like a big goal of mine is to play for Australia. But on the flip side, I'm playing really well in QBL, like state league. So what do I want to do? Do I want to play for Australia? Do I want to have a crack at, you know, playing professionally and getting paid to play basketball? And at the time, it's a big decision. And I remember same thing. I remember actually calling my brother, because I think he was living in Cairns at the time. I remember calling him and I was on the phone to him in tears, just because it was such a big decision for like a 17 or 18-year-old kid to make. And I was like, what do I do? What do I do? I don't want to, because I'm a people pleaser. So I didn't want to let down the Australian coach, but I didn't want to let down my state league team or my state league coach either. So I was like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Anyway, that weekend we played against Brisbane at Auckland Flower. And I think I had, you know, 32 points or something like that. Moral of the story, I played really well. And Joey Wright was in the crowd. And he came down after the game. He said, hey, I like what you do.
Yeah.
At the time, I'd been around like the Bullets development program.
Yeah.
Like it was called the Optimus program. So it's just a bunch of young kids around Brisbane who would train every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 6 a.m. or something like that. So as part of that, so Joey had seen me a little bit before then as well. But he came down after the game. He's like, "Hey, I want you to come to training next week." We're not in preseason yet. It was still early. It was still late off season, so before preseason. But there was a few guys getting together and just scrimmaging, going up and down the court and stuff. So I remember rocking up that first day, and it was the likes of CJ Bruton and Mick Hill and Brad Williamson, all these guys. So I sat in the fourth row at the Brisbane Convention Centre, just watching these guys play a few months ago in awe. And now I'm running up and down the court with them. So that was pretty incredible, pretty crazy. And I think that really, once you get a taste of it, you're like, I can play with these guys. And they were all good dudes too. You know, they helped me along the way and give me advice, and I'm forever thankful for that.
Yeah, wow. Were you able to keep up with them in training?
I probably not. I can't really remember. I was probably too starstruck to know what I was doing, but it's like I can't confirm either way. But I must have been doing all right.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you did. Well, you know, you've played many, many years in the NBL, so you must have been doing something right. After the Bullets folded, you played two games for the Townsville Crocodiles.
So that was actually, so I had a stint with the Blaze before that.
Oh, was that before? Okay.
I was after the Blaze folded. So I didn't get to play with the Bullets that year because they folded before preseason started. So I just got a few scrimmages in, I suppose. So then that year I basically took off, and like I said, I was a scrawny 18-year-old. So I put a lot of time into my body and lifted a lot of weights and tried to put on a bit of size because I knew that's what I had to do to go from a kid to a man and be able to compete with these guys. So I put a lot of effort into my body, and then Joey got the job down at Gold Coast and invited me to be a development player down the Gold Coast. So it was just a year later, and that first year I think I played a minute and a half all season. And I was so nervous. I think my first shot in the NBL was a corner three, and it barely would have landed inside the keyway. I airballed it about 5 meters short because you play, you sub on for the last 30 seconds of the game, and everyone knows you're going to shoot it. Everyone in the building knows you're going to shoot it. You got to coming your way, and you got to like shoot it. You know, it's a bad shot. You're scared, like you're sore. You're not sore, but you're cold. You got to let it fly. So even if it's a bad shot, so I let it fly and barely hit the edge of the keyway. And then the next year there was a few injuries, so I got to play a little bit more. And then my third year as a development player there, James Harvey got injured, and he was one of our better players, and he got injured. So I stepped into that spot and ended up playing about 10 minutes a game in our semi-final series against Perth. So I was a big part of that team. And in my eyes, I probably would have picked up a contract the year after, like a full-time contract. But that's the year that the Blaze folded. So like you said, after that, I went up to Townsville, and it was back to square one. I think I played a minute all season in Townsville. Enjoyed my time up there. Another beautiful place in the world. Enjoyed my time and worked my butt off before and after practices. Because our trainings, we had a lot of veteran guys up there, and our trainings were pretty short. So it's hard for a development player to get in on the scrimmages because the scrimmages only last 5 minutes. So put in a lot of work on my own, and then that's when Joey got the job down in Adelaide. And invited me down here.
Joey Wright signing with the 36ers as a coach was a big factor for you to join the 36ers?
So Joey came down here after my year in Townsville, and the way it worked back then, I think there was a points cap for the NBL and not a salary cap.
Yeah.
So to keep things fair, I think each team was allocated maybe about 72 points or something to spend on their players. And so if you're an import, you're worth 10 points. If you're an Australian player, you're worth, I think, between 8 and 10 points. If you were fresh out of college, you're worth 3 points. And if you're a rookie, you're worth 1 point. And I think Adelaide had 2 points left and 1 spot to fill. So, you know, that's kind of a big reason why I got the call up. They didn't have that many points, and you know, Joey knew who I was and wanted to bring me here.
Yeah, well, you've played a lot of basketball with the 36ers, and I'm sure we're all very appreciative and happy for you to come to us, because us 36ers fans, we really do love you, Brendan Teys. You're a very good player, and we're very happy that you are still with us even to this day. So
thank you.
Looking at this season now, and the upcoming season, looking at the team as a whole, what excites you the most about us?
About this team?
Yeah.
I think we have a lot of firepower, and I think we will have the ability to attack teams in a number of ways. I think the way that they've built the team, I think we're going to be very strong inside. So our bigs are going to be very good bigs, and the offense that we're trying to put in, you know, the bigs are a primary target for us, and we want to play inside and out. The way that basketball is going these days is you'll find a lot of teams are going to play small ball, and they want to run around, shoot threes, you know, put smaller guys in the 4 spot, smaller guys in the 5 spot. And we're going back to kind of traditional basketball where we want to play from the inside out. Our bigs are very good catch and shoot as well. So we still have that ability. But I think you'll find that we want to share the ball a lot, and we want to play inside out.
Yeah, well, we look at some of our imports, like you talked about our bigs. You know, we got Isaac Humphries, who played in the NBA and has shown off his shooting ability in the NBA, and he's going to bring it over here. So very excited about that. And well, we've known DJ. He's been able to shoot for a while. So and they're two are very good. So very exciting stuff. Look for them. How the other signings looked, like Keanu Pinder, Sunday Detch, Josh Giddey. How they been looking?
Yep, Keanu's looking athletic.
Yeah.
Giddey, I'm very impressed with Giddey. I wasn't sure what a 17-year-old kid was going to be like coming in and playing professional basketball, but he does not look out of place at all. Wow. He's been really good. Who else is there on that list?
Sunday.
Who?
Sunday Detch.
Oh, Sunday's doing the same things that you've seen him doing. He's up and in on defense. He'll probably be our best defensive player, and then making good plays on offense, which is surprising because all these guys had to spend 2 weeks in hotel quarantine. So for them to come in and make an impression like they are so early on, I think it's a huge credit to them. Donald's not here yet, our import. He'll be here, you know, hopefully in the next month or month and a half, 2 months. But yeah, all the new recruits are looking really good.
Yeah. Have you been able to talk to Don at all?
Yeah, a little bit. I've messaged him a few times. As soon as I heard that he signed with us, I sent him a message, you know, welcoming him to the club and welcoming him to the city, to the team. And then just recently I messaged him. I was just trying to find out, because he's expecting a kid. So I was just trying to find out when his kid was being born and what his plans were when they're looking at bringing him over and stuff like that. So nothing too in depth, but just touch base every now and then to make sure he's doing okay and try try to work out what he's up to.
Yeah, I'm very excited for Donald. I think he'll be a great addition to us at the point, and I'm very excited to see what he can bring for sure. What are you personally? Are you personally aiming to get anything more out of next season on the court?
The way that I play and the way that I've always played is I just want to do what I have to do to build success with the team. I just want to win a championship. Yep. So in years past, if I need to step up and score and shoot the ball, I'll step up and score, shoot the ball. If I need to facilitate, get the ball to DJ, get the ball to, whoever we want to get the ball to, you'll find me doing that. If I need to play good defense, I'll play good defense. If I need to sit on the bench and wave a towel for the other guys, I'll sit on the bench and wave a towel for the other guys. So, personally, it's always been about team success for me.
Yeah.
And then, so all that's left for me to do is win a championship in my eyes.
Yeah, well, I hope you bring a championship to the city of Adelaide. The 22-point game against the Bullets, was that because you're in your home state, or did Joe want you to score more?
What was that?
Your 22-point game against the Bullets, was that because it was in your home state, or anything different that game?
I guess you're playing in front of family and friends, and I can look up in the stands and probably name every second person that's sitting in the seat. So it's kind of familiar. I'm familiar with the people up there, and you got plenty of family and friends coming to watch, and so I guess you feel comfortable. And then on the flip side, I just made a couple of buckets early, and guys started finding me that game. I just was aggressive, and guys were giving me the ball in the right spots, and that's what I do. If I get the ball in the right spot, I'm probably going to score it. It's just whether I get the ball or not, I guess.
Yeah. Playing like a man possessed out there that game. I saw that game and I was like, wow.
I got concussion at the end of that game, so that I don't remember it very well. I do remember it. Just not last few years.
I remember that concussion. You had such a good game and you got concussed. It was quite
similar.
You were co-captain of the 36ers last season. What was it? How was that? And what sort of stuff did you do as a co-captain?
So I guess what you guys see is what happens on game day. But there's so much more to professional basketball than that. You've got to take into account that there's 10 guys who have been the best at what they do for so long, and so many different personalities and stuff like that you've got to kind of help mesh together and fit the pieces together to be successful. Otherwise, people are going to be butting heads and bickering and not wanting to pass to each other, and it just makes it tough. So my job, I guess, is to stay on top of that, make sure guys are doing the right thing. If you're late to training, let you know about it. Hey, we don't do that at the 36ers. If this or that's happening, I just make sure that things are in line, and keeping in mind that the one thing we want to do is win a championship. So if you're doing something to hinder that, then I'll have to say something to you.
Yeah, basically holding people accountable for their actions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Last year, the NBL had the Indigenous round. How and why was that important to you and the NBL?
I think, well, firstly, I guess it's important to me and the NBL because it gives a chance to promote Indigenous culture.
Yeah.
You see all the Black Lives Matter and whatever it is these days, that even I, don't know as much about the culture that I should, but there are people in my life who do know about the culture, and they are teaching me. And I think Indigenous Round is a good way to promote that and educate people about that culture and what they've been through, where they come from, how they go about things, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So obviously, you would know my wife's family's Indigenous.
Yeah.
So it was kind of special for me to, I guess, promote kind of fly the flag for my family and be proud of, where my wife's come from and her culture. So it was special for me to be able to promote it that way. And I get, like I said, just fly the flag for my family, I guess.
Yeah, big shout out to Laurie, Brennan's wife. She follows the page, so props to her. So I just saw a post on Instagram asking for some questions. So I got some questions here. I got one question from someone called Adam Gibson. You may know who that is. Southeast Melbourne Phoenix guard Adam Gibson, that is.
Here we go. This will be good.
He asked me for you to talk about a training session against the development players on a full court 1v1. Apparently, you lost badly. You flew home straight to practice, and the training guys got to beat up on you and Adam Gibson a little bit. So, if you'd like to elaborate on that, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, that's I forgot about that one. I've kind of erased that from the memory books because it was such a bad experience. But the way that the drill works, so yeah, we lost a game one night, flew back the next day, and we got practice called on us straight away. So hey, when we get to the airport, you guys are going straight to training.
Yeah.
And so we're all knackered. We went straight to training, and the whole training was just defensive focused. And this drill that we had to do was full court one-on-one.
Yeah.
So we had all the training players in each corner of the court. So one corner down that end, one corner down this end. And you would have to play defense on a training player, get a stop, and then as soon as that training player shot the ball, the other one could take off from the baseline, and they would try to score on you, and you had to get 2 stops in a row to get out.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, I was running on a treadmill. I was running in quicksand. I could not move my legs, and I think the drill ended with me kind of just falling. I would just fall over. I would try to catch up and just fall over and try to ankle tap someone or try to tackle someone. My legs would not work. And somehow, I don't know what, I think the training players must have missed layups on purpose so that I could get out of defense. But I remember my vision just closing in real close, getting dizzy. My legs wouldn't work. And I got the stops and training finished. And I just, pretty much just broke down crying because I was like, that is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And I don't know if Gibbo said that he got stuck in the wheel of death as well, but I did not remember anything else other than me just being stuck in a hole. And it was horrible. So yeah, I probably did, 20, 25 laps of the court trying to play defense 25 times in a row. So I was dead after that.
Well, apparently your legs gave out as well. So.
Oh yeah, I could not control my body. I was just falling over. It was literally like running in the sand.
Oh well, he did ask another question, Gibbo.
Of course he did.
Yeah, you know how it is. He asked, "Why do you try and steal his guns in Fortnite?"
Why do I?
Yeah.
Did he ask that, or is that?
He asked that.
I'm confused because he's the one who's always stealing my guns in Fortnite.
Oh, right.
I think, I'll put it to the people. If you kill someone on Fortnite, you have the right to their weapons, like their loadout.
Yeah.
And if I'm shooting someone, I kill them, you'll see Adam Gibson, without a doubt, running straight through my loot. Oh, gold sniper rifle. All right, I'll snake that. He's notorious for it. So I don't know if you've ever watched one of Anthony Drimick's streams.
Yes.
I'm sure Gibbo's been on one or two. You'll be able to see him in action. he's notorious for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, shout out to Dream Dog on Twitch. Yeah, I have watched a few of those streams. I don't think I've watched with Adam on it, but I have seen you and Jack.
He probably doesn't play with Gibbo because Gibbo steals all his guns.
Oh well, I mean, he also asked why you were medic as well.
Why am I? Well, that one I can attest to. I'm not very good at the game, so you'll probably find me running around with a few med kits, and
Yeah.
When he gets knocked out, I'll be a good teammate and try to res him.
Oh, that's good. Back to basketball, because that's why we're here. What do you see your role being next year with the new teammates that we've got?
It's hard to know. It's still early days. We've got a long preseason to get through to try to figure all that stuff out. But one thing for sure, we're a good mix of veterans and a good mix of young guys. So I'll be sure to kind of pass my wisdom onto the younger guys. I fancy myself as a very high IQ player. So anywhere I can help out in that respect. Trying to learn coaches' philosophies and then pass that to the rest of the guys in the group. You'll find me doing that. But in terms of on the court, it's just too hard to know so early on.
No, oh, fair enough. I understand that. And going into the next season, what do you think your best attribute is?
Ooh, I mean, I've always prided myself on a defensive end. I've always prided myself on guarding the best player on the other team.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I got into the league in the first place, is playing good defense. And then from there, just my confidence offensively grew. Obviously last year I had a few big games.
Yeah.
And this year I'm feeling just as good as I did last season. I'm feeling really confident.
Yeah.
I like the philosophies that coach has, and
yeah.
I think they fit with my own kind of skill set and philosophy. So, hopefully I can contribute in a big way offensively, but you'll always find me trying to guard the best player on the other team and do my job there.
Yeah, good that you mentioned coach. Have you been able to talk too much about next season with Coach Connor and stuff like that, and your role and stuff like that?
Yeah, kind of. Like I said, it's really early in the year to try to work out what each other's roles was. I think he had an idea of the kind of player that I was, and since being here, I think he's been impressed with what I bring to the table. So that's a good start.
Yeah,
got to build from there. There's still 3 months till the season potentially starts. So just got to keep building on that and kind of pave my own way to see what kind of role that I build for myself.
Yeah, good. I think that you'll be able to find a role. I'm sure you'll be able to find one. So I've got my last few questions are sort of quick fire sort of questions. Well, this one isn't, but do you have any funny teammate stories about something that happened while you were traveling interstate?
Any teammate stories while I was traveling interstate?
Yeah. Anything funny happened with your teammates? You do spend a lot of time with them when you're traveling, don't you?
This is a PG rated show, right?
Oh.
Nah, there's just, I mean, you're right. Like on the road is where you build your bonds and you kind of build those relationships best.
Yeah.
It's kind of a chance to, you're either chilling with your roommate or everyone's out getting dinner together or whatever. There's a number of stories that go through my head.
Please do tell.
I don't know if that's very appropriate. I guess I don't know. One of the funny ones was, I'm not going to name names.
No, that's fine. I completely understand that.
So one of the funny ones was we just had a big win in Perth, and it was we had a big win in Perth, and we all went out to celebrate.
Yeah.
And there was a few guys that celebrated a bit too much, let's just say, and for some reason found themselves wrestling in the hallways of the hotel.
Wow.
Little did they know that A, it was Joey's birthday, and B, they were wrestling out the front of Joey's room.
Oh my goodness.
So enough about that. The next morning, we all got into the team bus, and Joey's like, "That's not acceptable. Like, you guys can carry on like pork chops or whatever." Joey was good in that, treated us like professionals. So if we wanted to go have a drink, we could go have a drink. Whatever we wanted to eat, we could eat. The only issue was if that became detrimental to our performance. So that's when he would step in and he would be like, "Hey, you need to look after yourself here. You need to look after yourself there, blah, blah, blah." Yeah. But in this case, it's obviously not acceptable to be carrying on like that in the hallways of the hotel. So we got on the bus the next morning, and he said, "Hey, you guys, like, that's unacceptable. You can't be doing that." Yeah. As a result, we got practice as soon as we land back back in Adelaide. Wow. And we're all like giggling and stuff because there was a few boys who partied a bit hard and were still a little bit intoxicated, I suppose. So Joey's like, we're practicing when we get back, and there was like a few that's pretty funny, like, okay. And then on our way, so everyone was knocked out on the plane because we're all tired. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as everyone woke up, as the plane's landing, it kind of just hit that we all had practice, and that practice was like running suicides, running up the stairs, skipping ropes, defensive slides. And the funny thing was, is we smashed the session. Like, we were getting around each other like, "Yeah, come on, boys, let's go, let's get to it." And we smashed it, and you could tell Joey was just standing there waiting for one person to not put in effort or or to screw up or something like that so he could punish us more. And he said after, he's like, "Man, you guys practiced awesome today. I was trying to find someone who was slipping up, but I couldn't find anything. So good job." He said, as long as he said people make mistakes, it's just human nature. But if you are prepared to make up for those mistakes, and in that case, it was, we're carrying on in, well, not we, there was a select few that were carrying on in the hallways. And then our punishment was we had to run sprints and stuff, but we smashed that. And Joey was happy after that because as long as we lived with our consequences, I suppose, and it was all good. But that's a pretty funny story without names.
No, I completely understand you don't want to name names. That's fine. That's all right. That's a good story. As long as you go to training and smash it, and maybe don't go to that extremes again. But I'm sure Joe Wright would have really appreciated that. Your YouTube channel. You started a YouTube channel recently, and I've subscribed. I watched all the videos. I think they're very informative. I really like the isolation in the working out in isolation with DJ. I think that was a very good video. What sort of ideas have you got for videos in the future?
I mean, that was something fun for me to do, while we're in isolation or whatever. But it was just a fun way of me trying to deal with the situation that we're all in.
Right.
I kind of found out that I enjoyed doing like that video editing and stuff like that. I'm not very good at it, but I enjoy doing it.
So you edit
and from there, I don't know, I suppose I just wanted people to get to know me, who I was off the court, get to know who my teammates were off the court. And since then, I've actually just registered my own basketball coaching business. So there's going to be a lot of YouTube videos, not the same as the ones that I've been doing, but very informative ones on trying to teach people the game. Like I said, I pride myself on being a high IQ player. And I see so many people, so many kids out there with all the talent and all the skills, but don't really know how to play the game.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to be doing a lot of videos on YouTube and a lot of online training, so I can help teach those guys and help them reach their goals and dreams, because I see so much potential, and I think they just need that little bit of teaching to get them across the line. You know, these days anyone can go to the NBA.
Yeah.
From anywhere with the luxury of the internet. There's scouts, you know, in LA who can have a look at a guy in Brisbane just like that. So, you know, that's my goal with that kind of business. So you'll see a lot more YouTube videos.
Yeah, good. BrendanTeys.com, isn't it?
Yeah. So this new business I've started is Hooper. So HOOPR. I'll be launching it pretty soon. I've just got to get everything in order. But you'll see a lot of basketball clinics, a lot of YouTube videos, online training, stuff like that. So just trying to reach as many people as possible, even kids in the country who don't get access to all this kind of stuff. I'm going to try to be available for them and all the rest of it. So really excited about that.
Yeah, that sounds very exciting. Did you mention you edited the videos yourself that you uploaded?
Yeah, so all the content that I've done so far, I've edited myself. You know, the only thing I didn't do is this logo. This logo I got done for me. Everything else I've done myself. So I've enjoyed it and learned new things along the way.
Yeah, wow, that's pretty impressive. Like, it's pretty daunting editing.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So yeah, favorite band?
What was that?
Your favorite band?
My what?
Oh, here we go. Your favorite band?
Oh, my favorite band. I'm more of a R&B kind of guy. I'm more of a 2000s R&B kind of guy.
Oh yeah.
But if I was to say my favorite band, I mean, I love like Wonderwall by Oasis. I wouldn't say they're my favorite band, but that's one of my favorite songs.
Wow. Well, would you have a favorite like singular artist?
Probably growing up, it would have been Kanye or T-Pain.
Wow.
I love T-Pain growing up. I loved Chingy growing up. Snoop Dogg growing up. But yeah, I don't know. Probably T-Pain would be my favorite out of all those.
Wow, I could not look at you and think that you were a T-Pain.
Oh yeah.
Snoop Dogg.
Oh yeah. I got a lot of soul in here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of soul in here. You may think I'm a rock and roll kind of guy or whatever, but there's a lot of soul in here, and that might be credit to my wife too. My wife's got a lot of soul, and she might have introduced me to all that music, but who knows?
Yeah, wow, that's pretty interesting actually. What car do you drive?
Right now, a Holden Cruise. One of our sponsors is Mitsubishi.
Yes.
And I'm currently in the market to get a bigger car because I've got 2 kids now and there's not much room in the back of the old Cruise. Yeah. So looking to upgrade. I've been talking to Mitsubishi, one of our major sponsors. And they've been awesome. And then COVID hit, so put that on the back burner. But hopefully in the near future, you'll see me driving a Mitsubishi of some description. Don't know what yet.
Yeah, well, I have an Outlander, but it's an older Outlander, so I feel like that'd be pretty decent size for you.
Yeah, that's all I need. I've never been an SUV guy either, but now that I've got a bigger family, I definitely need the space.
Yeah. What's your favorite Adelaide eatery?
I would say either Nordberger.
Oh yeah.
Or Low and Slow. at Port Adelaide. I like American barbecue.
Wow.
So Low and Slow ticks that box, and Nordburger is, one of the first burger places I stumbled across at Norwood, and now they've branched out to a few more restaurants, and
Yeah.
that's the go-to. I fell in love with it the first time I had that, and I don't eat it much anymore, but every time I do, love it.
Yeah, Norbert. I've heard heaps about it, but I haven't gone there yet. So if you recommend it,
Well, you're not living until you do.
well, I definitely will check it out then. My last question that I have for you is, who's your favorite teammate?
My favorite teammate right now, or my favorite teammate ever?
Or both.
Well, Gibbo's up there.
Yeah, you
He's probably sitting in second or third place. So he's on the podium. Gibbo would be one of them. The reason being, he was at the Gold Coast Blaze when I was coming through. He was at the Bullets when I was coming through. And he's just a guy that I've kind of looked up to and learned how to play the game off him. He's a guy with exceptional basketball IQ. So to be able to pick his brain growing up and learn the game off him was real special. And another one, probably I'll leave number one for a bit later, but number two is probably I have a joke with DJ. So DJ is a good, very good mate of mine, and my family would be lifelong friends with his family. And I have a running. So he's probably my current. I mean, not probably. He's definitely my current favorite teammate.
Yeah.
My best friend on the team.
Yeah.
But I have a joke with him that he's the second best roommate I've ever had.
Oh, yeah.
My number one roommate that I've had is Luke Schenscher.
Yes.
He's just an incredible human being, just a friendliest guy, big friendly bloke, full of wisdom, full of stories, just a really good guy. So he's probably, number two on the list. And then number one of my favorite teammate ever would be Anthony Petrie. He's in the same boat as Gibbo, where he just has exceptional basketball IQ, just toughness and grit, and just a guy who'll tell you how it is. He'll tell you what you do want to hear, what you don't want to hear. He'll just, if it has to be said, he'll say it. And he's another guy who I'm very lucky that I got to grow up playing basketball with and against, and kind of picked his brain and learned how he went about things. Those three would be my favorite teammates of all time, probably. And then my favorite teammate right now would be DJ.
Yeah, well, talking about you, going back to YouTube again, that video you made with the DJ about the would you rather stuff, I found that quite funny as well. So you should. So you should do
his family, my family, real close. Fun fact though, I probably didn't talk to DJ in my first 2 seasons here, just because he's a quiet guy, and I don't know, we just didn't really have much in common, and then all of a sudden we just clicked and became good friends.
Yeah, you should you should 1v1 him. That would be a funny video, I think.
Why would I do that? He every time we play 1-on-1, he dominates me. So there's no point on that. It wouldn't be much of a video.
That's why it's funny. It would be funny. Okay, well, Brendan, that's all my questions. So we'll wrap it up here. Again, thank you very much for coming on. I hope it was worth your time. And thank you very much for coming on again.
No worries. Thanks for having me.